You guys gotta forgive me because I just recently moved, so there's no pretty artwork in the background for everyone to stare at. You know, it's just my face. I haven't really even set up here yet, you know. I'll put a blanket down in case someone decides to hop in my lap because I still need to get her nails clipped and they kind of hurt. And you saw I was wearing shorts. Where was I here? I think I want to say this is where I'm at. Then we'll start anyway. Saturday, 30 January 1943. Dear Kitty, I am boiling with rage, and yet I mustn't show it. I like to stamp my feet, scream, and give Mummy a good shaking cry, and I don't know what else, because of all the horrible words, mocking looks, and accusations which are leveled at me repeatedly each day, and find their mark like shafts from a turning strung bow, which are just as hard to draw from my body. I like to shout at Margaret, Van Dan, Dussel, and Daddy too. Leave me in peace. Let me sleep one night at least without my pillow being wet with tears, my eyes burning, and my head throbbing. Let me get away from it all, preferably away from the world. But I can't do that. They mustn't know my despair. I can't let them see the wounds they have caused. I couldn't bear their sympathy and their kind-hearted jokes. It would only make me want to scream all the more. If I talk, everyone thinks I'm showing off. When I'm silent, they think I'm ridiculous, rude if I answer, sly if I get a good idea, lazy if I'm tired, selfish if I eat a mouthful more than I should, stupid, cowardly, crafty, etc., etc. The whole day long I hear nothing else that I'm an insufferable baby, and although I laugh and pretend not to take notice, I do mind. I would like to ask God to give me a different name, so that I didn't put everyone's back up. But that can't be done. I got the nature that it has been given to me, and I'm sure it can't be bad. To do my very best, please everybody, far more than they ever guess. I try to laugh it all off because I don't want to let them see me in trouble. More than once, after a whole string of undesirable rebukes, I flared up at Mummy. I don't care what you say anyhow. Leave me alone. I'm a hopeless case anyway. Naturally, I was then told I was rude and was virtually ignored for 2 days, and then, all at once, it was quite forgotten, and I was treated like everyone else again. It is impossible for me to be all sugar one day and venom the next. I'd rather choose the golden mean, which is not so golden. Keep my thoughts to myself and try for once to be just as disdainful to them as they are to me. Oh, if I only could. Yours, Anne. Looks like I have a visitor now. That's why I have the blanket. I know, I need to clip those nails. There you go. Take you to a bed and have them do it for me. Or a groomer. Are there cat groomers? Let me know if you know a good cat groomer in Jacksonville in the comments. Meow. Friday, 5 February 1943. Dear Kitty, although I haven't written anything about our rose for a long time, there still isn't any change. The discord, long accepted by us, struck Mr. Dussel as a calamity at first. He is getting used to it now, and tires not to think about it. Maggot and Peter aren't a bit what you would call young. They are both so staid and quiet. I show up terribly against them, and am always hearing, "You don't mind Maggot and Peter doing that? Why don't you don't find Maggot and Peter doing that? Why don't you follow their example?" I simply loathe it. I might tell you I don't want to be in the least like Maggot. Margaret. Gotta start calling her Maggot. Margaret, yeah. She is much too soft and passive for my liking, and allows everyone to talk her around and gives in about everything. I want to be a strong character, but I keep such ideas to myself. They would only laugh at me if I came along with them with this as an example of my attitude. The atmosphere at the table is usually staid, though luckily the outbursts are sometimes checked by the soup eaters. The soup eaters are the people from the office who come in and are served with a cup of soup. This afternoon, Mr. Van Daan was talking about Margaret eating so little again. "I suppose you do it to keep slim," he added, teasing her. Mummy, who always defends Margaret, said loudly, "I can't bear your stupid chatter any longer." Mr. Van Daan turned scarlet, looked straight in front of him, and said nothing. We often laugh about things. Just recently, Miss Van Dam came out with some perfect nonsense. She was recalling the past, how well she and her father got on together, and what a flirt she was. Didn't expect that. "And you do know," she went on, "if a man gets a bit aggressive, my father used to say, then you must say to him, 'Mr. So-and-so, remember, I am a lady,' and he will know what you mean." We thought it was a good joke and burst out laughing. Peter, too, although usually so quiet, sometimes gives cause for mirth. He is blessed with a passion for foreign words, although he does not always know their meaning. One afternoon, we couldn't go on to the laboratory because there were visitors in the office. However, Peter had to pay an urgent call, so he didn't pull the plug. He put a notice on the laboratory door to note us with SVP gas on it. SVP is in quotation marks, by the way. Of course, he meant to put beware of gas, but he thought the other looked more genteel. He hadn't got the faintest notion it meant, "if you please." Yours, Anne. I guess I'm getting comfy, huh? Right? Okay. Meow. I know, while we were moving, we got to actually watch there's a movie version of Diary of a Young Girl. Actually, I think it's called Diary of Anne Frank, the movie version. Black and white shot, or at least black and white done. Very good, you know, remake of the book. It skips through a lot of what I'm reading right now. It's kind of funny. Like, it skips at the end of 1942 and then it jumps to 1944, and it's like, whatever. You know, you skipped an entire year. Like, you skipped, you know, some good parts there. It was funny when they did that time jump. Um, she's going through, and it's, I know spoilers, but she's going through, and she's like, yeah, you know, it's New Year's Day, 1944, or, you know, a couple days after, or whatever, and so much has changed since we've been here. Mishu ran away. And the cat, I don't think that's the name, but, you know, I think it's Mishu, whatever. And right when that happened, I looked down at Boots, and I'm like, Mishu? I don't call her Mishu, but we've had this going joke now since, I know I have a joke with my cat, but we've had this going joke, you know, whenever, you know, something, you know, changing scenes or something. I'm like, and Mishu ran away. And she's like, Dad, really? Or human, whatever they call us, I don't know. I know. Mishu ran away, but you didn't. You're staying here with me forever. Meow. Meow. Saturday, 27 February, 1943. Dear Kitty, Pym is expecting the invasion any day. Churchill has pneumonia, but is improving slowly. The freedom-loving Gandhi of India is holding his umpteenth fast. Miss Van Daan claims to be fatalistic. But who is the most scared when the guns go off? No one else but Peter Nola. Peter Nola. Petronila, whatever. No one else but P. Foreign words. Hank bought a copy of the bishop's letter to churchgoers for us to read. It was very fine and inspiring. Do not rest, people of Netherlands. Everyone is fighting his own weapons to free the country, the people, and their religion. Give help, be generous, and do not dismay, is what they cry from the pulpit. Just like that. Will it help? It won't help the people of our religion. Okay, that's what happens with the TV. Auto turns off until I turn it on. Well, I'll let that happen. Figure it out what happens next. It's new TV. It was a gift. Very grateful. Because I went out a lot of TV this week. Anyway, back to the story. Put a hand on the big TV. Yeah, back to the story. You'd never guess what has happened to us now. The owner of the premises has sold the house without informing Connor and Coppus. One morning, the new owner arrived with the architect to have a look at the house. Luckily, Mr. Coppus was present and showed the gentleman everything except the secret annex. He professed to have forgotten the key of the communicate door. The new owner didn't question any further. It will be all night as long as he doesn't come back and want to see the secret annex, because it won't look too good for us. Yeah. Daddy has emptied a card index box for Margaret and me and put cards in it. It is to be a book card system. Then we both write down which books we have read, who they are by, etc. I procured another little notebook foreign words. I know, right? Lately, Mummy and I have been getting along better together. But we still never confide in each other. Margaret is more chatty than ever, and Daddy has got something he is keeping to himself. But he remains the same darling. New butter and margarine rations at table. Each person has their little bit of fat put on their plate. In my opinion, the Van Dans don't divide it at all fairly. However, my parents are much too afraid of a row to say anything about it. Pity, I think you should always give people like them tit for tat. Yours, Anne. I don't know. Probably could do a little bit more, or we could stop here. You want to stop here now? You're like, you took a sip of water for a reason, you're not stopping? Okay. Meow. Mishu ran away. Wednesday, 10 March 1943. Dear Kitty, we had a short circuit last evening, and on top of that, the guns keep banging away all the time. I still haven't got over my fear of everything connected with shooting and planes. Excuse me. And I creep into Daddy's bed every night for comfort. I know it's very childish, but you don't know what it's like. The AA guns roar so loudly that you can't hear yourself speak. Miss Van Dad, the faultess, was nearly crying and said in a very timid little voice, "Oh, it is so unpleasant. They are shooting so hard," by which she means, "I am so frightened." It didn't seem nearly so bad by candlelight as in the dark. I was shivering, just as if I had a temperature, and begged Daddy to light the candle again. He was relentless. The light remained off. Suddenly, there was a burst of machine gun fire, and that is 10 times worse than guns. Mummy jumped out of bed and, to Pim's annoyance, lit the candle. When he complained, her answer was firm. Alfred, all Anne's not exactly a veteran soldier, and that was yeah, after all, Anne's not exactly a veteran soldier, and that was the end of it. Have I told you about Miss Van Dan's other fears? I don't think so. If I am to keep you informed of all that happens in the secret annex, you must know about this too. One night, Miss Van Dan thought she heard burglars in the attic. She heard loud footsteps and was so frightened that she woke up her husband. Just at that moment, the burglars disappeared, and the only sound Mr. Van Dan could hear were the heartbeat of the frightened falters herself. Oh, Putty, Mr. Van Dan's nickname. That's cute. They are sure to have taken the sausages and all the peas and beans. And Peter, I wonder if he is still safely in bed. They certainly wouldn't. They certainly won't have stolen Peter. Listen, don't worry. Let me go to sleep. But nothing came of that. Miss Van Dam was far too nervous to sleep another week. A few nights after that, the whole Van Dam family was woken by ghostly sounds. Peter went up to the attic with a torch. And scamper, scamper. Scamper, yeah. What do you think it was running away? A swarm of enormous rats. When we knew who the thieves were, we let Mushi sleep in the attic. I was supposed to be Mushi. Okay. When we knew who the thieves were, we let Mushi sleep in the attic. Any uninvited guests didn't come back again. At least not during the night. Mushi. Okay, so Mushi's still here this time. Mushi. You're not even paying attention. You're just looking at yourself or whatever you're doing. Yeah. Peter would. Mushi. Thank you. This is why we read, so we can get names correct. Mushi. Okay. Peter went up to the loft a couple of evenings ago to fetch some old newspapers. He had to hold the trap door firmly to get down the steps. He put his hand down without looking and went tumbling down the ladder from the sudden shock of pain. Without knowing it, he had put his hands on a large rat and had bitten him hard. Ouch. By the time he reached us, as white as a sheet and with his knees knocking, the blood had soaked through his pajamas. And no wonder. It's not very pleasant to stroke a large rat and then get bitten into. The bargain is really dreadful. Ooh, ouch. Yours, Anne. Ouch. That hurts. Wow, you got like bitten up by it. Ouch. Yeah. Well, I'll complain about the roach. Yeah. So I guess you're not going to complain much about roaches when you gotta do the rat bite, like, oof. Yeah, I'd bother too. Ouch, man. You don't bite. Well, she bites. Whatever. Friday, 12 March, 1943. Dear Kitty, I'm introduce someone to you. Mama Frank, companion of youth. Extra butter for the young. The problems of modern youth. Mummy defends youth in everything, and after a certain amount of squabbling, she always gets her way. A bottle is preserved slowly. Soul has gone bad. Gala dinner for Mushi and Broche. Who's Broche? Who is Broche? I'll figure it out. Mushi. I know where Mushi is here. You haven't met Broche yet. Oh, although she was here before we went into hiding. She is the warehouse and office cat that keeps down the rats in the storeroom. Okay. Like, who the hell is Broche? Her odd political name requires an explanation. For some time, the firm had two cats. One was the warehouse and the other was the attic. Now, it occasionally happened that the two cats met, and the results were a terrible fight. The aggressor was always the warehouse cat. It always Yeah, it was always the attic cat who managed to win. Just like some nations. So the storehouse cat was me, the German or Broche, and the attic cat, the English or Tommy. Tommy was got rid of later, and all that entertained, and we are all entertained by Broche when we go downstairs. Okay, so I think I know why Mushi ran away. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know why Mushi ran away, because Broche, jeez. We haven't eaten so many kidney beans and hard-cooked beans that I can't bear the sight of them anymore. Yeah. The mere thought of them makes me feel quite sick. Bread is no longer served in the evenings now. Daddy has just said that he doesn't feel any good mood. His eyes look so sad. Again, poor soul. I can't drag myself away from a book called The Knock at the Door by Ina Bedur Beka. The story of the family is exceptionally well written. Apart from that, it is about war, writers, the emancipation of women, and quite honestly, I'm not awfully interested. Horrible air raids on Germany. Mr. Van Dan is in a bad mood. The cause? Cigarette shortage. Discussions over the question of whether we should or should not use our canned vegetables ended in our favor. The student wanted to trade canned vegetables for cigarettes. Okay. I can't get into a single pair of shoes anymore, except ski boots, which are not much use around the house. A pair of brush sandals costing $6.50 floras lasted me just 1 week, after which they were out of action. Perhaps Meat will scrounge something under the counter. I must cut Daddy's hair. Prim maintains that he will never have another barber after the war. But I do the job so well. If only I didn't snip his ears so often. Yours, Anne. This next one's like super short. Thursday, 18 March, 1943. Dear Kitty, Turkey is in the war. Great excitement. Waiting on suspense for the news. Yours, Anne. And yes, she just like me. That's right, she earned me. Friday, 19 March, 1943. Dear Kitty. Meow, meow. I am not reading this. Meow, 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 meow. Dear Kitty. An hour later, joy was followed by disappointment. Turkey is not in the war yet. It was only a cabinet minister talking about them soon giving up their neutrality. A newspaper in the dam was crying, Turkey's on English side, Turkey on England's side. The newspapers were torn out of his hands. This is how joyful the news reached to us. Let's just do 500 and 1,000 quarter notes have been declared no longer valid. It is a trap for black marketers and such like. But even more for people who have gotten who've got other kinds of black money, and for people in hiding. If you wish to hand in a 1,000 gutter note, you must be able to declare it and prove exactly how you got it. They may still be used to pay taxes, but only until next week. Dussel has received an old-fashioned foot-operated dentist drill. I expect he'll soon give me a thorough check-over. For a German has been talking to wounded soldiers. Listening into it is pitiful. Question and answer on something like, my name is Hermrich Scheppel. Wounded where? Near Stalingrad. What kind of wounds? 2 feet frozen off. You got it? Oh no. There you go. 2 feet frozen off and a broken joint in the left arm. This is exactly what the frightful puppet show on the radio was like. The wounded seemed to be proud of their wounds. The more the better. One of them felt so moved at being able to shake hands with the Fuhrer, that is, if he still had a hand. They could hardly get the words out of his mouth. Yours, Anne. Maybe since Mushi ran away. The boots just went against the fit. I think we're done for tonight. Till next time.